So estimating from current price of 60K, we should be well above 100K this year. Then 2025, I think the top will be then. Today we discuss Bitcoin markets. So the first chart, Bitcoin stock to flow model. Bitcoin closed this month a bit above 60K, and that's 10K below last month, actually completely erasing last month's 10K gain. So maybe the 70K of last month was a bit too much. There was ETF FOMO, and of course there was a never seen before all-time high before the halving and all that. So despite this a bit lower closing price this month, Bitcoin is still 36% up year to date. And also Bitcoin is at the halving because this month is the last blue dot because it's month 0 here. And from next month, May, we will count down again to the next halving in 2028. This month is the last blue dot, and every blue dot, last blue dot, every halving has been at this gray stock to flow model price. So that's very nice. Also, the average price is something that we can calculate at the moment. It's 34,000, and that's a little below, of course, 55,000 that the 2019 original stock to flow model predicted, but it's ballpark okay. It's the same order of magnitude, and don't forget, in 2019 the Bitcoin price was below 4,000. Also note that the average Bitcoin price was above the stock to flow model price in the cycle before the last cycle, the 2016-2020 cycle. So I updated the model. Parameters did not change much. 2024-2028 target is still around 500K on average. So there is a halving. The model value goes up. And of course, it takes some time. The Bitcoin price has a lag to catch up with the model value. It's every halving, it's the same. It will also be true this halving, in my opinion, because the price will not be 500K, of course. In May, it will slowly over the months go into that model price. So what's next? For 2024, I repeat the same as last video. It is inevitable that we reach 100K, in my opinion, because miner revenue has to recover. And mining revenue, because of the halving, did halve. All the miners, the entire industry has seen its revenue drop by 50%, and it has to recover. Usually, last 3 halvings, it did recover within 4 to 8 months. So that's well within this year, 2024, and the only way for mining revenue to recover is that price doubles. So estimating from current price of 60K, we should be well above 100K this year. Then 2025, I think the top will be then, because historically the top of the bull market has been about 1 year, 1.5 years after the halving. So that brings us in 2025. And the big question, of course, is will the price follow diminishing returns? And I think a price of, well, around 200K for the top will be in line with diminishing returns, or will price indeed follow the stock to flow model again, and will there be exponential returns again? You know my answer. I think stock to flow is still valid. I think we will have exponential returns at least until 50% adoption, and we're now at somewhere between 1 and 10%, so far away from that 50% adoption. I think exponential returns are what we're going to see. Okay, next chart, the Bitcoin market cycle, and everybody was watching for that red dot. If it would turn to yellow, it did not. So the bull market continues. I know the emotions are very different. I know some think the bull market's over already, but that's exactly why we use models, to fight against emotions and the on-chain transactions that this market cycle indicator is based on. The on-chain transactions signal that we are still in a bull market, despite this little dip. And note, by the way, that here's a dip as well. Here's a dip as well. It's very similar. Here's a dip. Here's a dip. So red doesn't mean there won't be dips. In fact, 25% dips are quite normal in a bull market. So better get used to it. There might be more, but the good thing is red will continue, in my opinion. Next chart. Let's go to the technical indicators. RSI. Last time we had a very high RSI of 77, and last month it dropped to 66. It normalized. So it's now at the level of the last couple of halvings. So this is the 2012 halving, the 2016 halving, and the 2020 halving was, of course, below. So we're above the 2020 halving levels in RSI, and this is the last blue dot. The next dot, the May dot, will be red. So in fact, we haven't even started yet, in my opinion. So I think that the red dots that we will see starting from May, the red dots will be higher than the blue dots. So the red RSI will be higher than the blue RSI, which means we will see RSIs well above 80, like we have seen in the previous bull markets. And that means large price increases. RSI 80 is really absolute steep price increases in a real bull market. So I think we still have that in front of us. If we look at the 200-week moving average, nothing much happened. It increased a little, as the 200-week moving average always does, and it's now at 34,000. So you can see that as a very conservative floor. It's indeed very conservative. In bear markets, it might touch or even go below the 200-week moving average, but in bull markets, we will go far higher. This chart, the realized price, is very interesting. The realized price, which is basically the cost price of Bitcoin, all the Bitcoins, all the 19.6 million Bitcoins weighted against their last transacted price is now $29,000, and the 2-year realized price is $45,000. It's a little bit higher than last month, but it's plateauing a little bit. Same is true for the 5-month realized price. It's at 60K right now. And the very interesting thing is that is a huge support level in bull markets. So dips, like we were seeing last month, usually bounce on the 5-month realized price, the short-term hodler also known as. And we can see that here in 2020, it was a bull market. It dropped till the 5-month realized price. And you can also see the plateau in the realized price and the 2-year realized price. You can see it here in 2017, here in 2017, that little dipped until the light blue 5-month realized price and then went up again. I think that's what we're going to see as well. And the same happened in 2012, right? It goes to the light blue line and then resumes the bull market. I think that's the exact same situation that we're in right now. And now realized return. Realized return is still positive, 7%. So April sellers got 7% return. And the data suggests that the sellers are taking profit, and it's not the ETF weak hands that sold. Taking profit in a bull market is a very logical thing to do, especially for traditional finance people. 7% is a lot in a couple of months in traditional finance terms. So don't blame them. Sometimes, and especially if you're new to the market, to the Bitcoin market, you want to see if the profits are real, and you want to take the profit out and then reinvest it. That's what I think is going to happen. Bitcoin in profit also dropped a bit, of course. It's not 100% anymore because the buyers at 70K are in loss. So 12% is in loss right now, and that's yellow. And we could probably compare that a little bit to what happened in 2020 here. Red, yellow, and then the bull market resumes. Or in 2012, we see a beginning of the bull market and then yellow and then second start. I don't think we can compare it to 2013, which was after a 10K, and then the bull market continued to do another 10K, or with 2019, or it seemed to be a very early bull market a year before the halving. That was just too early. We're now at the halving, so I think it's more like 2020 and 2012, but time will tell.